All right, let's picture this. We're at the very edge of the world, totally surrounded by nothing but ice. It's in this frozen, desolate landscape that one of the most famous and, frankly, terrifying stories ever told really begins. Today, we're digging into the chilling opening of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
So, if you're thinking Frankenstein, you're probably picturing a gloomy castle, lightning, the whole deal. But nope, that's not where this story kicks off. It starts here, in the middle of the Arctic. A ship is trapped in the ice, miles from anything, and the crew spots this. An impossible figure, massive and shaped like a man, racing a dog sledge across the ice before just vanishing.
And right there, that's the hook. That's the central mystery that just pulls you right into the story. This bizarre sight at the edge of the world sets the stage for a tale of ambition, absolute horror, and deep, deep tragedy.
I mean, just imagine being there. Your ship is completely stuck, surrounded by these massive fields of ice. You're pretty sure you're hundreds of miles from any land at all. And then, you see that. A gigantic figure on a sledge. It makes no sense. It's completely impossible.
And just when you think things can't get any weirder, the very next day, they do. Another sledge drifts toward the ship, but this one's just on a single piece of floating ice. On it, there's one dog, still alive, and a man who is barely hanging on, totally emaciated from exhaustion and suffering.
So who's telling us all this? The person writing it all down is the ship's captain, a guy named Robert Walton. He's writing these letters back home to his sister, and we quickly learn he's on his own massive quest, a quest for greatness that's going to sound very familiar pretty soon.
See, Walton is a man who is absolutely consumed by ambition. He tells his sister he's put years of his life into this, giving up all comfort, all for the sake of discovery. He wants to go where no one has ever gone and achieve a kind of glory that will make his name live forever.
But here's the fascinating thing about him. For all this grand, world-conquering ambition, Captain Walton is deeply, profoundly lonely. He's surrounded by his crew, sure, but he's desperate for a real friend, a kindred spirit who actually understands that fire that's driving him.
And then, almost like the universe is answering him, he finds this man. The stranger he pulls from the ice is well-spoken, he's intelligent, he seems to be the exact friend Walton has been longing for. But he's just a shell of a person, a total contrast to the hopeful captain.
Walton calls him a complete wreck. And even as he starts to get his strength back, you can tell this stranger is just haunted by something awful. There's this wildness, this madness in his eyes. He's a man who has clearly been tormented and is now just completely broken.
Of course, everyone on the ship is dying to know what on earth was this guy doing in the middle of nowhere about to die. So when the lieutenant finally asks him, his answer just makes everything even more mysterious.
He wasn't exploring. He wasn't lost. He was chasing someone. And who was he chasing? Well, the crew puts two and two together pretty fast. It has to be that gigantic figure they saw the day before, the being that this stranger calls a daemon.
So as the stranger starts to recover, he and Walton begin to talk. And Walton is so excited, He's finally found his intellectual equal. He starts gushing about his dreams and his ambitions. And in doing so, he accidentally uncovers this really powerful and really dangerous connection between them. You can just see this chilling parallel taking shape. Every time Walton talks about glory and conquering the unknown, the stranger just sees a reflection of his own personal hell. He sees in Walton's ambition the exact same fire that completely destroyed him.
And then comes the turning point. Walton, in this big, passionate speech, basically declares that he'd sacrifice his own life and even the lives of his crew to achieve his goal. I mean, it's the ultimate statement of just completely unchecked ambition.
This doesn't inspire the stranger at all. It horrifies him. It's like Walton's words just confirm his worst fears. He completely breaks down, crying, as if those words just hit some terrible raw nerve.
And what he says next is so chilling. He looks at Walton and basically says, "Oh, you poor man, do you have my madness too? Have you also drunk this poison?" He doesn't see nobility in Walton's ambition. He sees a sickness, the same sickness that ruined his life. Right there, in that moment, the stranger makes a huge decision. He sees that Walton is heading down the exact same path that he did, and he realizes he has to do something to stop him.
So he offers to tell Walton everything, his whole life story. But this isn't for entertainment. It's not some story to pass the time. It is a warning. He hopes that his own story of ruin can be a lesson for Walton, to steer him away from the same horrible fate.
And this, right here, this is the whole point of the story we are about to hear. It's a cautionary tale, from one ambitious man to another, begging him not to make the same mistakes. Don't let your dream become the serpent that poisons you, because mine sure did.
And with that, the story within a story finally begins. The stranger gets ready to tell the tale that led him here, to the literal ends of the earth. And he starts, like all stories do, at the very beginning, with his family.
He finally tells Walton his name. He is Victor Frankenstein. And his incredible, horrifying story starts not with monsters or madness, but in Geneva, with a happy, wealthy, and very privileged childhood.
And that is the question that hangs over everything. How does a man go from a happy childhood to chasing a monster across the Arctic ice? Frankenstein's story is the answer. It's a profound warning about knowledge without wisdom, ambition without morality, and, most of all, creation without responsibility. A warning that has been echoing for over 200 years.